Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that he is in fact just like his father? Original story. My 31 female husband 31 male, and I have 4 children. A son 9 male, a daughter 8 female, and twins 5 male. My husband and I were over the moon when we had our first 2 kids, and were just very excited. The twins were a huge surprise considering twins aren't common in either of our families, but we decided to keep them. However, my husband's attitude towards the twins has completely changed. I know it's tiring. We have other little children running around too, but it's not like we're overwhelmed. My mother, who is still very young and fit, lives with us, and she usually takes care of the kids when she can. We aren't short on money either, as both of us come from pretty wealthy families. However, I know that sometimes that isn't even enough when it comes to parenting, so I decided to leave it. However, instead of moping around or just being distant, he's become pretty mean with the twins. He's always finding something to shout at them for. I kid you not, he shouts at them for being identical as if they purposely planned it. Plus, he's the perfect dad with my older children. He only acts weird with the twins. I had enough yesterday when my youngest asked me why dad hates him and whether I want him to disappear too. There is absolutely no way a little kid would lie about something like this. I don't think he has the mental ability to make up things like that either. I was furious and confronted my husband, who was sound asleep in the bedroom. I asked him what his problem was and why he's being a nahal. He was confused, so I explained. He then accused my son of lying and saying nonsense. Obviously, I didn't believe him and told him that he was exactly like his father. He got pissed and left the house. I don't know where he went, and honestly, I don't give a crap. Side note. Husband's father was, in short, a piece of turd. Very absent and cheated on his wife a lot. My husband vowed to never be like him, and gets very heated at the mention of his dad. Anyways, my mother, who heard the whole thing go down, told me that I did the right thing by shouting at him, but I should have not mentioned his father. My sister, who I called later, said the same, and told me to make a post on here just to see. So, am I the a-hole for telling my husband that he is exactly like his turd of a father? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not an a-hole. He sounds like an a-hole. People who are mistreated often become one themselves. This isn't acceptable. Not an a-hole, but I actually think you're failing your kids. You can't allow him to keep treating your twins like that. It's a terrible environment for them to be raised in. Your husband needs to get into therapy and change his attitude, or you need to leave him. Poor little boys. He is scapegoating them while treating the elder 2 like golden children. It's classic abuser behavior, and Opie needs to step up and stop allowing it to happen. Not a a-hole. I'm sorry. I encourage you to keep being advocates for your twins, and if he is saying things like that around them, maybe limit their one-on-one time with dad. Things like that is so damaging to kids. And they're not too young to understand, as you pointed out. They know they're being treated differently. Whatever you do, don't subject them to someone who isn't kind to them constantly. Good luck. Maybe limit their one-on-one time with dad. Yeah, Opie, you are not a a-hole for being upset. But keeping your younger 2 in a home that is obviously emotionally damaging to them because the marriage is good for you, that's not being a good mother. As a parent, it's your job to put your kids first. And you clearly both have the money and support to do this without living with your husband. At a certain point, you have to realize that you can't just sacrifice the twins' well-being for everyone else in the family status quo. Now for the update. So first things first. I would like to thank all of you for your input. I read every single reply and have taken all your words into consideration. Secondly, I would like to clarify a few things. 1. When I said that my husband and I decided to keep the twins, I meant that we had to think long and hard about me giving birth to them. My first 2 pregnancies had a lot of complications, and according to the doctor, twins would be worse. Ultimately, we both decided that we would keep the kids and pray to God that I would be fine. It was tough. I almost passed, but I survived. 2. I had mentioned my husband's behavior before, and he always told me that I was overanalyzing him or overreacting. According to him, I was doing too much. I actually thought I was going crazy and felt like a witch for thinking my husband was mistreating the twins. However, my son's face showed me that I was right the whole time, and I should not have let it go on as much as I did. And I blew up on him. Yes, I said it to hurt him. But I also said it because I hoped that he would realize that he is turning into a jerk of a man, just like his father. Now on to the update. So, a few hours after I made the post, my husband messaged me saying that he was sorry for leaving the house abruptly and shouting, etc. I first asked him where he was, and he said that he was at his brother's house. I told him to get comfortable because there was no way he was coming back home. I then asked him if we could meet later, and he said sure. So the next morning I went over to his brother's house and we talked. And honestly, I'm numb. I'm going to keep this as short as possible, so I'll skip over the irrelevant stuff. So first, I apologized for comparing him to his father, not for shouting at him, but for the comparison, and he said it was fine. He apologized as well. Then I asked him why he was so mean to the twins. It took some time for him to tell me the truth, but he spilled. Like many of you suggested, he said that he felt like they weren't his children. Apparently the kids don't look or act like him and he got bad vibes from them. I rolled my eyes at the bad vibes part, but I assured him that I did not cheat on him, and that just because they don't look like him, they look a lot like me, doesn't mean they aren't his children. He said that he did trust me, but something about the twins was off. I told him that he wasn't making any sense and that he needed to see a therapist, ASAP. He kind of looked defeated before saying that he would. I forced him to make an appointment then and there in front of me. I then told him that he wasn't coming near any of the kids until he sorted out his issues, because the children are going to be heavily affected by him. I mentioned some of the things you guys said about how much words hurt and how kids remember. At this point, I had some hope that he would get better, that there was a slight chance of us becoming family again. But then I asked him one more question. Did he ever physically hurt our twins? Somebody mentioned this in the replies of my original post and it had been killing me. I needed to know. He said yes, but only a few times when they were being difficult. I was shocked. He hit our children and I was clueless. He said that it wasn't hard and that the twins were throwing things and wouldn't calm down, so he hit them. He didn't mean to and lost control. I didn't want to hear anymore and immediately left before I did something. I went home, and when my mom asked how it went, I cried. I sobbed in her arms. I don't know where I went wrong and why everything was going downhill. You hear these things happen in news or in movies, but you never realize that it could be happening to you or your babies. I then made sure my kids were okay. I asked my twins first if Dad ever hurt them. They said yes, and one of them even said that he was scary. I asked my eldest two if Dad ever hurt them, and they said no. I asked the two if they ever saw Dad hit the twins, and my son didn't know, but my daughter did. She even said that they deserved it. That ruined me even more. I mentioned that my daughter had been starting to treat the twins like her father, but I managed to stop it. Obviously, she isn't mean to their face anymore, but it's obvious she thinks low of them. So, taking advantage of the money I am privileged enough to have, I have decided to put all of them in therapy with the best people I could find. When they asked where their dad was, I told them that he was busy with work and wouldn't be home for a bit. I honestly don't know if that was the right call, but I don't want a man who hits kids in my house or near my children. I'm just numb. I've cried so much that I cannot cry anymore. I can't be angry because I let this happen for so long. I can't be guilty because I need to stay strong for my children. I still don't know what to do. Like I've said a billion times, I'm so numb. It's like all the joy has been sucked out at me. Thankfully, my sister moved in, and both her and my mother have been supporting me a lot. I felt like letting it all out, and talking about it on this post would help me feel better. But I still keep getting flashes of anger, sadness, guilt, etc., and I don't know. I know I'm making this about me, but I don't know how to handle all this information that's been dumped on me in one day. But I'm going to be strong for my children. I'm going to get the best lawyer I can find, and I'm going to do my best to protect my kids. Whether I let my husband into my life or the lives of my kids is still a huge question mark for me, as my eldest two have mentioned that they miss him. Now we'll see how things go, but I don't know if I can ever trust him again. He has messaged me a few times since our conversation saying sorry, and that he really didn't hate our twins, but I don't know. And yeah, once again, thank you random strangers on the internet for the replies and private messages. I don't know if this update was satisfying, and I highly doubt that I'll update again as I'm going to put all my time into helping my kids. But I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you guys. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I don't feel like I have sisters when she asked why I didn't invite my sisters to my birthday? I, 23 female, have two older half-sisters, 26 female, 27 female. My mom was married to their dad, divorced just after 26 female was born, and met my dad soon after and they had me. My mom shared custody of my sisters and my parents are still together. Growing up, they were always so close with each other. They would hang out, do fun stuff together, and it didn't include me unless my mom insisted on it. And sometimes it wasn't a fight. Just a thing of, oh, you're going to the park? Well, little sister can come. Outside of stuff like that, I was always left out. And when we all did stuff as a family, I felt very much like an only child. I was never included in the jokes. They'd want to sit with each other. They would sometimes not even talk to me, which wasn't always a bad thing, lol. Especially when we were teenagers. As adults, nothing much has changed. I have often asked them if they wanted to do things, and they are either too busy or they forget to show up and just never bother following up when they do. And they have done plenty of stuff without me. My oldest sister got married and had our middle sister in her wedding as her bridesmaid and didn't include me in any of it. I was just a regular guest, which again is fine, but it just sets the relationship. I didn't actually get to talk to either of my sisters the whole wedding. Not sure if it was deliberate, but yeah. A few years ago, they got matching sister tattoos, and the tattoos in question reference having only one sister. For me, that was when I kind of stopped caring, or started working on not caring. I had never known how to feel about it before, but I realized what it was. For years, they treated me not as a sister, but as my parents' child. Their mom's child, but not their sister. And I feel like I have gotten to the point where I'm okay with that, so long as I can treat them the same. So my 23rd birthday, I had some people over for snacks and stuff. Friends and family, but I didn't invite my sisters. I haven't been invited to their birthdays in years either. My mom questioned me on it, and I said I hadn't thought of it. She told me that wasn't possible. She told me she thought we had all moved past that stuff that were sisters. I told her it doesn't feel like I have any. It never did. They have each other and I'm on the outside. Her kid, but not their sister, and that it was fine. And after all these years, I would rather just move on. She told me it was horrible to say it feels like I have no sisters, and I told her that technically we are, but we do not have a close sibling relationship and I have never felt like their sister. My mom is mad at me for what I said to her. She's also mad at them for treating me how they did for so long. She went off on how she had talked to them so many times about this. But she's so pissed at me for saying what I did. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Simply tell her, your mother, to read their sister tattoos. That says it all, and it is recent. Yes, exactly. You just told the truth. This is a situation they, and your mother included to some extent, created. When it started, they were children, and she could have changed their perspective. It's too late now. Not the a-hole. Your half-sisters have shown that they don't acknowledge you as their sister, so you have a right to feel that way. Your mom is an a-hole for making it seem like that's your fault you don't feel that way. They have been a-holes to you, so I'm glad that you have grown to not care about the exclusion they have done to you. I'm sorry your mother tried to make your birthday about them. Of course not. Speaking your truth isn't wrong. And your mom is aware of the issues, and probably feels guilty about not being able to make it different, but she still shouldn't shut you down for saying it. Your sisters seem to have had plenty of chances to make a relationship with you. I imagine it's possible things will change in the future, but I think your goal of getting okay with how things are is probably the best thing you can do about it for yourself right now. Pretending it's not how things are won't help anything. Not the a-hole. Neither is your mom, but she does need to give you space to feel how you feel about it. I can't imagine what could change in the future with how clear they've been with how they feel about me. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my in-laws gold diggers for insisting to know how much my new job pays? I'm male 28, Canadian, and my fiancé female 26 and her family are from Latin America. My mother and father-in-law found out about my new job and wanted to have a private conversation with me without my fiancé, so they invited me to their house. They invited me into their guest room. My father-in-law asked me to leave my phone and keys at the dining table. They started talking about my new job. They had no idea how much I get paid and asked me to tell them about my salary, but I politely declined to tell them. They asked why. I just bluntly told them it was none of their business. Father-in-law chimed in, saying, "You're marrying my daughter. Damn right it's my business," and kept on about making his daughter's future secured. I assured him that his daughter is in good hands, and besides, money isn't everything, and love and respect are what's important. Mother-in-law disagreed and said that money is an important factor, then gave examples of issues I'll have in my marriage if I'm not capable of providing for my family. I refused to tell them again, assured them that I'm doing well financially, so no worries. Mother-in-law refused to drop it. Claimed I was being disrespectful by treating them like they were some strangers asking about how much I get paid, and demanded I give her a number. I got so annoyed and wanted to excuse myself to the bathroom, but father-in-law got up and locked the door. I asked what the hell he was doing. He told me to calm down and that he'll unlock the door when this conversation is over. I blew up and told them that their behavior is unacceptable, and what I earn is none of their goddamn business. Then told them that only gold diggers behave like this. And right then, they were giving me huge red flags. Mother-in-law gasped loudly, and father-in-law immediately unlocked the door and asked me to leave his house. I grabbed my phone and my keys and walked out. Mother-in-law already called my fiancé and was crying, saying I disrespected them in their house and called them gold diggers for just asking how I was doing with my new job. My fiancé was upset, but I explained what her mom and dad did. She said I not only hurt her parents, but hurt her as well by calling them gold diggers, and I owe them an apology. But I refused to. I asked if she thought what her parents did was okay, but she reminded me that she's with me because she loves me whether I'm rich or poor, and it doesn't matter what others think. My fiancé never cared about money nor acted materialistic. She works as a babysitter and happy with it. She said that I needed to apologize for calling them gold diggers and hurting their feelings for being worried about us. Although I assured them I'm doing well financially, and that should have been the end of it. But I guess I escalated. They escalated, and now I'm refusing to apologize. My relationship with them might suffer if I don't. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but deeply consider getting a prenup and reevaluating your relationship. Your in-laws are gold diggers, and your fiancé's reaction to it is deeply disturbing. She has her parents' back before yours. Just because your fiancé may not be exhibiting materialistic behaviors now, doesn't mean she won't ever, given what you just witnessed with her parents. The apple clearly doesn't fall far from the tree. Not the a-hole. Legally, by locking the door and refusing to let you leave, it could be considered kidnapping. 100% on the prenup. Not the a-hole. Locking you in was so past the line of, okay, I would reconsider marrying into this crazy family. They locked you in a room with them without your phone or keys. Definitely not the a-hole. If you're going to try to make it work with her, set boundaries now. Do not apologize for acting like anyone would in that situation. They weren't just rude, they were threatening. And the thing is, I'm sure your girlfriend knows how they are. Am I the a-hole for wanting some space from my daughter after she believed I was an abuser? Basically, I, 41 male, was accused of sexually assaulting her 16 female friend, 17 female. She's known her just over a year, so I've known her for the same amount of time. She tried to kiss me. I turned her down, and as a result, she accused me of violating her. It went on for a few weeks, and even went to the police. And it only came out when they were grilling her and she finally admitted it. She was victimized, but it was her mom's boyfriend, and she went with accusing me because I was the safe option or some nonsense like that. When my daughter found out at a time, and I was being investigated though, she cut me off. Basically, didn't even want to talk to me or see me. I tried to pick her up to come over, but she said she didn't even want to see me. My ex wouldn't even let me in the house. Even she believed it. And her brother, my ex-brother-in-law, physically beat me and removed me from the house because I wouldn't go until I seen my daughter. Worst thing was, she blocked me in social media. But before she did,
She put a status on her social media just saying some bollocks like "believe women," which freaking hurt. In my daughter's eyes, I was a criminal and I assaulted her friend. So now it's all came out and I'm cleared. She rang me up to say she wants to come over to talk, but I said no, I don't think it's a good idea. It hurt me when she didn't believe me, so I want to just think for a bit until I forgive her. My ex then rang saying how hurt my daughter is because I won't forgive her. She tried to apologize too, and I told her I don't accept her apology either, and that I don't want to talk to her either. They're not stopping texting me though, and my daughter tried to come over and was banging my door asking to come in, crying. I pretended I wasn't in. Am I the a-hole for wanting some space because I don't know if I can forgive her yet? Edited to add because people keep on asking, why were you alone with a 17-year-old? I wasn't really alone with her. They were both staying at my house. I went for a wee in the middle of the night, and she was waiting outside a toilet door and scared me a bit coming out. I laughed it off, and she basically lunged trying to kiss me. I laughed it off, told her no, and went back to bed. I didn't really pay it any more attention, and truth be told, forgot about it. Now for the top comments. How are you holding up? Please take care of yourself. Truth be told, not very good. This happened to me, but accuser was my friend's now wife, who got drunk off her butt, cheated, then told everyone I drugged her. And that's why she did it. Blood tests proved she was just drunk, while cameras showed her leading some dude into bar toilet, and me nowhere to be seen. She was dumb enough to post on social media, and police ran a talk screen a day or so later, and pulled camera footage. It's been 15 years, and most people that know still believe her cause, hey, believe women, and I'm some predator that drugged her. I threatened legal action. Her and her husband did attempt to apologize once after deleting all social media posts about it. I asked for an equal Facebook post to the one blaming me. They declined, things got heated, and he got a black eye. I've refused to speak to them or any of my old group of friends since. If the betrayal I felt was anything to go by, and yours was from your own daughter which would hurt orders of magnitude more, you're not the a-hole. Where's the brother-in-law here? That dude had have called police on. That he chose to marry such a woman just shows that he's an incurable idiot. He deserves every miserable hour he's married to that lying skank. She's had liposuction plus boob lift, plus glammed up. She's now a lady. He's an only child and his parents are quite well off. He's going to lose everything the moment they die and money comes to him. He'll get his own soon enough. Take all the time you need to heal from this disturbing and traumatic experience. Having your family not believe you is such a betrayal. To top it off with a social media post must have been gutting. Not only did she believe her friend with no proof, she also was ready to announce to the world that you're guilty. Legally, can you do anything about the fake allegation, as well as the physical assault from your ex-brother-in-law? I would scorch the earth. Don't worry about your ex-wife. Ignore that witch. The only thing I want to do about my ex-brother-in-law isn't exactly legal. I do the same thing as you. I just tell them, I'll come to you all when I'm ready to talk if that time should ever come, and not the other way around. This is exactly it. Actions have consequences. Some things there is just no coming back from. This might be one of them. It's sad because they may be the end of their relationship. People will now likely not believe the friend's actual trauma because she lied about OB. She has made her own situation worse and made it worse for other victims. It is hard enough for victims of SA to come forward, but lies like this are the reason people question crimes like SA in a way they'd never question burglary, etc. She will learn a very harsh lesson, and OP and his family are suffering for nothing. Now for the mini update. I've messaged her saying basically I'm still too hurt to want to talk, and I need time and space. And then I'll let her know when I want to get in touch. I also said I still love her, despite not really being sure if I should say that, when I am not sure if I can forgive yet. I've also messaged my ex, saying to make sure she or my daughter don't contact me again until I'm ready. Not heard anything back yet, but hopefully I won't. Someone on here said I should look into a holiday, which really isn't a bad idea. So I'm currently looking into places I can go for a week or so, and might book some time off work. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to drop the charges against my adopted dad's ex-stepdaughter? Long story short, I was raised by a single mom in crushing poverty until I, now 44, was 13. My mom got remarried and I was eventually adopted by her husband. He and his family were like winning the step/adoptive family lottery. Literally changed my life. As far as I knew, Dad's nephew and I were the only children in Dad's family. Years later, I found out more details. Dad was married and had a daughter, Ashley, now early 50s. When Ashley was 14, her mom filed for divorce and moved in with her affair partner. She told Dad she had been cheating their entire relationship and he wasn't Ashley's biological father. Her affair partner had been married their entire relationship, and when his wife died, he wanted Ashley and her mom to move in. DNA testing was expensive and not common for paternity at that time, but Dad was excluded as Ashley's father by blood type. Ashley's mom had known since shortly after her birth that Dad wasn't her biological father because of their blood types. Ashley and her mom moved in with affair partner and his children in the home he had previously shared with his wife. They requested that Dad neither pay child support nor have visitation. Ashley was 15 or 16 by then, and she wrote Dad a letter asking him to leave her alone and let her build relationships with her biological family. He did as she requested, and they never reconnect as father and child after that. As far as I know, they never spoke again. Ashley's mom wanted a quick divorce and property settlement. Dad got the house and contents. Ashley's mom got cash. I barely knew Ashley existed until Dad died. Dad's will specifically mentioned her, denied her as his biological child. I'm pretty sure he was never removed from her birth certificate, and expressly stated that she was to get nothing from his estate. When she got notice that she was disinherited, she contacted me. Initially, she was very pleasant and asked if she could have some heirlooms that her mother had left behind in a divorce. I wasn't necessarily opposed and asked her to send me a list of items. She never provided a list and wanted to come look around and find stuff. I declined. Over the past 5 years, she has become increasingly more aggressive and volatile. Turns out, affair partner wasn't her biological father either. His family had a bit of money and paid for DNA testing in the early 1990s, after Ashley was an adult. His parents and grandparents wouldn't pay for her college or include her as a grandchild in their wills without proof she was biologically related. She wasn't included in affair partner's will because she wasn't his biological child. She's very angry. She feels cheated. She has no idea who her biological father is. Her mom swore on her deathbed that affair partner was her dad, and the DNA test was wrong. She leaves me alone for a while and then starts throwing up at my house and job, ranting and carrying on about how I stole her life, her inheritance, her childhood home. She refers to me as the replacement. Eventually, I involved the police and she's been charged with remaining after forbidden and/or disturbing the peace 10 times. She escalated to property damage, and I finally had grounds for a restraining order. She violated it multiple times and was charged with misdemeanor violation of a protective order a couple of times. The last time they charged her with a felony. Now she's worried that a felony could impact her job. She wants me to drop the charges. Am I the a-hole for refusing to drop the charges against her? Now she's worried? Now, after all of this, not the a-hole. Don't drop the charges. OP, if you let her off again, she's only going to escalate. She's finally about to suffer a real consequence, and that has her scared, but not remorseful about what she's done. Also, you didn't do this to her. She did it to herself. She had plenty of warnings. Not the a-hole. She's stalking you and it's alarming. So it's fine for her to trespass, cause scenes at your home and job, but when her own job is supposedly at risk because of her outrageous behavior, you're expected to help her out? Don't fall for it. Ask the prosecutor and court to hold her fully accountable. Do not drop these charges. She will just start up again. Sadly, she did get screwed over by a lot of people, but not your problem. She mainly got screwed over by her mom sleeping with multiple men and not knowing who her father is. Poor woman. OP, has Ashley indicated if she has done a 23andMe kit or similar and did a little legwork to see if she may be your father's actual daughter or her mom may have lied on her deathbed and there was more than the 2 men? I don't know what she has done as far as DNA testing. My dad was blood tested by the court and excluded as her father, as a man with his blood type couldn't possibly be the father of a child with hers. Honestly, you're definitely not the a-hole here. Ashley sounds like she's just trying to blame you for her own issues, and it's super unfair for her to harass you like that. Like, girl, you didn't steal her life. Her mom did that. You have every right to protect herself and keep those charges. If she didn't want consequences, she shouldn't have acted like a total mess. It's wild how she thinks she can just waltz in and demand you drop everything after all that drama. Stay strong. I literally feel terrible for her. Everything good in my life is because of Dad and his family. I never would have gone to college without their financial support. I probably wouldn't have even finished high school if my life hadn't changed so drastically. I can't imagine where I'd be in life if they hadn't taken me in. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my father because he disowned me after knowing that I wasn't his biological child? So let's get into it, I guess. Almost a decade ago, my dad found out that my mom cheated on him with another guy years ago through my mother's sister. My mom and aunt weren't in good terms, so she told Dad everything. My parents fought over this and Dad filed for divorce. We all got DNA tested, and out of 3 children, I was the only one who wasn't his. It felt so bad to know that your dad who raised you for almost 16 years wasn't really your dad. That didn't feel as bad as him kicking me out of his house when I was begging him not to. I wished I could just end myself when he disowned me. My mom went into a depressive state and would just spend all day in bed and would just get out to use the toilet. My grandparents lived in a different state, but they did everything they could to make our lives better. I needed to come home from school, do all the chores in the house, and tend to my mom and check on her. I did everything that could possibly be done to make sure we lived. I would ask my mom who my real dad was, but all I got was screaming or a hit. My siblings and grandparents from Dad's side tried to make things right between me and Dad, but he wouldn't budge. Apparently, I was just a reminder that Mom cheated on him and nothing else. I remember my 17th birthday when no one remembered that it was my birthday. I cried to the point where I didn't have any tears left. Even when I graduated from high school, only my grandmother came. Why didn't my feelings matter to anyone? Why was I supposed to endure this? After I returned from my graduation, I told my mom that I was leaving if she doesn't tell me who my real dad is, and this time she did tell me who he was. I met him after finding where he lived. I discovered that I have a half-brother, and that my real father was a widower and a doctor. He didn't know that I existed or the fact that my mom was married. It took us time, but we built a bond and he helped me get through college and he walked me down the aisle. He even got Mom some help, and I am forever grateful to him. Well, present time me, I, 26 female, was married to my lovely fiancé last week, and I didn't invite my ex-dad to my wedding. He tried to contact me before the wedding, but I don't want anything to do with him. My siblings and grandparents from ex-dad's side say I am wrong, and that he wanted to come and make things right. But I don't want to make things right. He had a right to abandon me, so I have a right to do the same. He isn't my father. He was once upon a time, but not now. I understand that he was hurt, but I was hurt too. Everyone tells me to let go of the grudge, but I just don't want him in my life. And no, I won't give him another chance. My husband understands, but no one else seems to understand what I had to go through to get to where I am now. He cannot just come to my life 9.5 freaking years later and expect things to be alright. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. I don't blame you at all for not inviting him. He made his choice when he disowned you, and that caused a deep hurt that doesn't just go away. You've already rebuilt your life and found a real father figure who supported you. You have every right to protect your peace and keep him out. It's not about holding a grudge, it's about making sure you don't let someone back in who caused you so much pain. You owe him nothing, especially not forgiveness on his terms. You're so right. It's not about being bitter, it's about protecting yourself from more pain. Nobody should have to forgive just because someone suddenly wants back in. The father isn't trying to reconcile because he loves or misses the OP. OP was an emotional and financial liability when she was kicked out all those years ago. The father didn't want the responsibility of caring, or to spend one thin dime on the OP for food, clothing, or college. Now that OP has been to college, has a nice job and a nice partner that could help feed and drive the father to his doctor's appointments when he gets too old to care for himself, suddenly the OP is seen as a genuine asset. The father is just at the age where his own parents are needing more of him, and it's making him reconsider who he has to support himself in his old age. Not the a-hole. Tell everyone that you aren't holding a grudge and don't wish him ill, that you're just unwilling to reopen a wound that you've worked so hard to start healing, that you need to remain no contact in order to continue your healing journey, so you wish him peace, but your paths diverged 10 years ago and will never meet again. Why would he just abandon her and decide he wants to fix things after 9 years when she already has her life sorted out, after he ghosted her when she needed him the most? He made crystal clear he didn't want to be part of your life. Let him live forever with the consequences of that decision. OP's father took the decision that was best for him 9+ years ago. Now she's taking the decision that is best for her now, not the a-hole. Unfortunately, the decision he made was not the best for him in the long run. While it was made at a time when his emotions ran amok, as a grown adult who had raised this child for 16 years, he had ample time to rectify the situation. He failed to do so and relinquished his right to have a place in her life. Not the a-hole OP. However you proceed, do so in the fashion you're comfortable with. Congratulations on your marriage and finding your bio dad.
Am I the a-hole for making my stepsister and stepmom look for my lost necklace? I, 17 female, have a necklace that was made for me by a friend who does wire wrapping. It's the prettiest thing I own, and my friend moved last year, so it's my memory of her. My dad married his girlfriend last year, and her daughter, 15 female, and I don't get along. She's annoying and whines about everything. She always wants to borrow my stuff and then loses or breaks it or something. My stepmom just enables that and gives her whatever she wants to shut her up. It's dumb. Anyway, she really likes my necklace, but I won't let her touch it because I know how she is. She wanted to wear it with an outfit for her birthday party at her dad's a week ago, and I said no. So she whined to her mom, who told me to let her wear it to keep the peace. I told my dad, and he said I didn't have to let her wear it. So I didn't. On the day of the party, though, I noticed it's gone from my jewelry box, and stepmom admits she took it and let my stepsister wear it since it was so important to her. I was so mad. I was going to just tell my dad, but he was away for work for a couple of days and I decided to wait till he got back. Stepsister said she would give it back the next day, but I saw it on the floor of the bathroom that night and took it back before it could get broken. I decided to teach her a lesson, so I hid it and then asked for it back the next day. She couldn't find it, so her mom and her went through her room from top to bottom trying to find it. And when they couldn't, stepmom said she would buy me a nicer one to replace it. But I just told her she can't replace something my friend made. And she stole something my dad already said I didn't have to share. And this is why I don't like either of them. My dad came home and found out what happened. It had a big fight with stepmom about it, that now they're sleeping in separate rooms. Stepsister is grounded. I'm planning on finding the necklace because the point is made. Most of my friends think it's deserved, but a couple think I should have just told my dad and not made them look for a necklace I already had back. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your stepmom is an a-hole for allowing her daughter to steal your items. That was a handmade gift from a friend. Your father definitely needs to know how horrible his wife treats you, and how she lets her daughter mistreat you as well. If her daughter wanted a necklace so badly, her mom should have gone out and bought her one herself if it was so important that she had to wear it. Is this petty? Yes. Yes, it is. But in my opinion, you are justified a-hole in this case, since not only did they steal from you, then your stepsister was so irresponsible with your necklace. Edited to add. OP, is there any way you can sneak the necklace out of your house and have the friend who made it, or someone else you really trust not to say anything, keep it at their house, so your steps don't snoop in your room to find a hiding place for it? Gloriously petty. I like it, OP. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. This was necessary in this situation and it got your point through. They should have listened to you in the first place, but make sure you know where you found it so they can't get annoyed. I hope they learn to leave your things alone in the future. Just a bit of advice for the future. Most of my friends think it's deserved. When you do stuff like this, don't tell anyone. Your friends could tell someone who then tells your family. Then the crap will hit the fan and you will get in trouble. Learn how to keep a secret. 2 people can keep a secret when one of them is dead. Not stay home. It was taken without your permission and against the wishes of your dad, then was just dumped on the bathroom floor. I'd be inclined to say it maybe went a little too far, but actually if it could mean the stepmom won't enable her daughter so much in the future, it might work out okay in the long run. Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking back my gift and refusing to return it? This happened over Christmas and I'm still getting heat over it. I love knitting and crochet. It's my thing. This year, with COVID and all, money's been tight. So I decided to knit a Christmas gift for everyone using yarn I already had. Everyone already agreed to only do kid gifts, so I made small stuffed animals, unicorns and dragons in different colors. It was my first time doing this and all the best patterns are crochet, which I'm not as comfortable with, so it took months to make them all. I didn't mind though. It was fun to learn something new, and a good way to use up some of my enormous stash. All my side were happy, or polite enough to act happy, with the gifts. The problem was with my husband's families. His sisters immediately started making snippy, sarcastic, but kind of indirect comments about me being cheap/lazy. Niece didn't seem to like it either, and said some things that, yes, I get that she's a kid, but my feelings were still pretty hurt. There's a history of this sort of thing, so maybe I'm too sensitized to this, but I angrily took the gift back and handed her some cash, which made things really awkward, and we left shortly after. The big problem happened when Niece realized that all her cousins got matching stuffies, and so she wanted hers back. I already gave hers away, and I refused to make another one. Apparently, she's crying that I broke her heart. But I'm finding it hard to care because I'm still hurt by how she and her mother behaved. They have not apologized either yet, but expect me to. My husband thinks I should make her another one and should have overlooked the comments in the first place. I told him that he's in charge of his family's gifts from now on, which is apparently petty. Now everyone, including husband, is mad at me except his stepdad and sister. My family is, obviously, on my side, but that's just making things worse. I get that snatching the gift back and flinging money at my sister-in-law's face. Their words, I don't think I did, might have been overly dramatic and rude. But am I an a-hole for it for being pushed too far? Edit. I was told I should mention that Niece is around 11 to 12 years old, and that I didn't literally snatch the toy out of her hands like my sister-in-law claims. Niece had tossed it away, so I picked it up. Not a-hole. Entitled children grow into entitled adults. We damn sure don't need any more of those. I tell the sister-in-law that maybe she should have had some respect and taught her child respect, and should have the matching stuffy. As someone who actually does crochet, making that stuff is both time-consuming and still expensive because of the materials going into it, even if it's yarn you already have. Not a-hole at all. I'd be happy to get a handmade gift. Not a-hole. OP, Hubs should handle the gifts for his side of the family and you deal with yours. That is 100% normal and okay. Sounds like Hubs just expects you to do all the labor and have zero responsibility himself. That's BS. Yep, I noticed several issues in this post, and this one is one of them. Yeah, the husband puts in no effort, takes no responsibility, allows his wife to be insulted, blames the wife for his sister-in-law's behavior, demands his wife apologize when she did nothing wrong, then calls his wife petty because after all of this, she says he should take responsibility for gift giving for his family. He is a super a-hole. Although I get the feeling if hubby was in charge of the gifts for his side, he would blow the entire household budget on his family just to make himself look good, and not worry about Opie or her family getting anything. It would make life easier if he would buy their gifts, because they always love whatever he gives them. Sometimes I would buy things and let him say he bought them, and they never complained. But this year we couldn't afford much, and everyone knows he doesn't knit/crochet, so it was obvious who they were really from. He wants to go back to the old arrangement, but I don't want to anymore. Edit 2. Thanks to everyone who responded. I'm sorry I can't reply to you all. I've tried showing this post to my husband and unfortunately, it went not well. He's upset over me making our private things public, which I understand, but still his reaction seemed disproportionate. I didn't want to bring my family into this because they already don't like him, but I'm staying with my sister for a bit. I don't know what to do. Sorry if I'm not responding much anymore. There's just too much else I need to think about now, I guess. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for deciding to ban my in-laws from their future grandkids? Me, 22 female, and my husband, 27 male, are married for 3 years, and we're discussing having children. We have pretty good relationships with my husband, but 2 years ago, he decided to move his parents to our city due to the health reasons. I totally supported him, but said I'll not be comfortable with them living too close from us. Is that okay? In 3 months from this conversation, I found out that he secretly made a deal with our next-door neighbor to buy his land for his parents. Money's theirs. I was furious to say the least, but he promised that they'll move to their house right away and won't live with us. He promised it'll be great. I went with it and even supported our family financially while he was building their house instead of working. In 3 months, it turned out they live with us for 1.5 months. It was a hell for me. After 2 weeks, my mother-in-law, 46 female, started to bully me while my husband was at work. She insulted my career choice. I was at 4th year of my bachelor's degree and had 2 jobs, one being connected with my degree, and my housekeeping skills. Later, she spilled that she blames me for her son leaving his well-paid job with military forces in countries with high risk of war actions. At that time, he helped them to close their credit bills. This was getting worse as I noticed their drinking problems. My husband had tried to talk to them, but it didn't work. My husband had noticed them being drunk too. Even had problems with them as they insulted him. But on the next day, everything was fine. At that point, I was done with them and went no contact while my husband kept in touch. About 3 months ago, my husband and I started discussing having children, and I said I'm not comfortable with my in-laws being a part of our children's lives. He disagreed with me and said it should be our decision. I asked him to promise me that he won't take children to the in-laws when I'm against it. He refused. Then I asked him to sign the official contract that he will not organize them meeting our children. He refused. After many conversations, I agreed to talk to them and make things work. But it was horrible. When I asked why she treated me that bad, she said, as a mother-in-law, I have a right to demand children. Where are they? For all my questions about different encounters we've had, she said, it didn't happen and you are lying. Even when my husband said that these situations had happened, she hasn't acknowledged them and blew up and screamed, I apologize to you. I don't want to have the sin of pride. Then she demanded that I apologize too. I asked for what? And she screamed that I'm a liar and my family are liars. My husband supported me and apologized for his decision to move them in the house 5 meters across from us. So now I have no contact with the in-laws, but my husband does. And my decision about them being grandparents is still a big no. My husband chose to be silent about his decision. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, but run. Your husband has lied to you at every turn about his intentions with his parents. He has smiled to your face and done what he wanted all this time. Do not have children with this man. He is allowing his mother to mistreat you and approving it. Once you have children, you will never escape him. Make sure your birth control is never left where he or she can find it. If you can stay on an implant or IUD, something he can't get to, do so. Right? Just red flags all over the place. She will regret having children with this man for the rest of her life. Think about the poor kids in a situation like that. Baby, if you think your husband isn't going to go behind your back again, you're wrong. He lied and went behind your back once to move them in right next door. Now it'll even be easier for him to sneak any children over there. Twice. Wants to move them next door and wants to actually move them in for almost 2 months. It's like he purposely found out what boundary she had, negotiated it, and purposely went about trying to break it. But then blamed her / would make excuses for why his behavior was justified. OP, you are getting a glimpse into how your husband will parent any children you have with him. Please follow through with what you say. for him to learn the consequences of breaking your boundaries. Right now, there hasn't been, since it just keeps moving the goalposts, slowly moving you closer to feeling like nothing makes sense. And once nothing makes sense, you doubt yourself and actions. And then whatever it tells you, you have to believe, because you will feel like you can't trust your own actions. And now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for saying I don't remember how long I've been married? My husband, 42 male, and I, 40 female, have a very good and loving relationship. For the most part, he is a very helpful and engaged spouse and father. He cannot/will not remember the dates of important milestones. I plan and organize the kids' birthday months in advance, and he participates. I spent the first few years of our marriage sulking about him forgetting my birthday, and since then I planned it out myself and let him know what I want as a gift. I remember my in-laws said close friends' birthdays and greet them on my behalf, leaving him to manage his relationships with them on his own. And I do love him a lot, so I plan to celebrate his birthday. I know he'd forget it if I didn't do so. I gave up caring about Valentine's Day long ago. But to his credit, he is good about remembering and celebrating Mother's Day for me. He always forgets our wedding anniversary, and after 8 years of planning and having him simply participate, I left it on him to do something on this one event. He forgot it every year since then. We've been married for 13 years now, and we haven't celebrated our anniversary for the past 5 years. I've made my peace with that. We had a family gathering this weekend, and in a group conversation, someone asked my husband how long we've been married. He did this, "Oh, I don't know, wife keeps tracks of these things." And he and his siblings are all like, "Haha, typical husband." They asked me how long we've been married, and I did the same tone of, "Oh, I don't know. Who can remember? Haha." Everybody became a bit awkward, and husband looked upset at me. Later he asked me why I'd say that, and I said that we don't celebrate our anniversary, so it's not at the forefront of my mind. The realization that we haven't celebrated our anniversary in years came as a surprise to him. He pointed out that I remember how old our house is, how old our cars are, even how long he's had his laptop. He doesn't remember those things. So for me to not remember how long we've been married is showing everyone that my marriage is of much lower value to me. I said that instead of making his forgetfulness a point of contention, I chose to be like him and not track the age of our relationship, and he should be accepting of that. I may be the a-hole since I do remember how long we've been married, but I'm pretending not to because if I can't bother to remember and celebrate, then I shouldn't be expected to either. Not the a-hole. This man may not remember much, but he does have the ability to buy himself a calendar and use it. It's not your job to care for the both of you. Or a smartphone. They remember anniversaries for you these days. Yep, I have all important dates in my phone's calendar. Even birthdays and anniversaries, even if I know when it is. It's just a reminder for the day of it, as I can get days mixed up sometimes. I bet he remembers his favorite sport team and a lot of numbers around that. He just doesn't care about the marriage and wife in the same way as something important. Not the a-hole. It's so incredibly tiresome. The expectation of being responsible for managing the household, well, they have a free pass at not even recalling things as simple as a wedding anniversary. Being forgetful is one thing, being uninvested is something else entirely. I think this is why the husband is upset. He just got hit with the reality that she could be as uninvested as he is. That's not something he was prepared for, though she's been dealing with it for years. It's not even that she is uninvested, it's just the potential, his new perception that she could be. Somehow it was fine for him in his mind, but a shaky reality if she's as bad as he is. He is not a kid in school. There are no participation trophies he'd want to put some effort in. He realizes they didn't celebrate for 5 years, but only after it becomes a matter of public opinion. He was embarrassed she didn't play the part he expected in front of people. To remember and assign that value while he got to play down his part in things. It came as a surprise to him. 5 years? Really? There is forgetful and there is willful ignorance. Everyone celebrates their relationship differently, but if they weren't married, sleeping in the same bed like sleeping in separate rooms, would they be considered just people sharing a house?